Well, this is another one of these stories that I love to tell. Some of the stories that I have to share, you really don't know how they ever really ended because I don't know the end of the story. But I can tell you the beginning, and you can use your imagination from there. But this was a time when I was going to take a trip with a friend of mine in our motor home. And I had a friend named Bill Birdsell. He lives in Lewiston, Idaho, and he's still around. And he and I took a trip in the motorhome to southern Idaho. Matter of fact, I think we were going, I don't know where, but we were going someplace where I would be ministering, okay? And about halfway to Boise, we went past a rest area. And right outside the rest area was two young men that were hitchhiking. So we thought, well, we'll pick those boys up. And we picked them up and going to give them a ride. And they were going to go to Boise, and they were on their way to California. And as we got to know them and got to visiting with them, I found out that one of them was the big brother to the other one. And they were both excited because they were starting a new life. They were going to go to California and live it up and have and party and all that kind of stuff. Well, one of them was married and he had a child, a little baby son, and lived somewhere here in Idaho. But he had left his wife and he'd left his baby, and then he took his little brother, who was also a teenager, and they were heading out together and gonna change their lives and go live it up in California. Now, he didn't like leaving his baby. He loved his baby boy, as he had expressed to me, but his wife would not let him smoke cigarettes. Well, she didn't want him to smoke marijuana. And he said, I've got a right to smoke marijuana if I want to. And he said, my wife always gets mad at me when I smoke marijuana. And I said, well, so you're telling me that you're going to leave your wife because she doesn't want you to smoke marijuana? That's right. He said, she's not going to tell me how to live my life and what I can do and can't do. And I said, but didn't you just tell me that you love that baby boy of yours? Oh, man, yeah, I love him very much. And I said, did you love your wife? Well, yes, I did, but I'm not going to let her tell me what to do. I said, so tell me something. Do you realize that you're telling me that you're willing to trade your wife who you love and your baby for a marijuana cigarette? You're willing to make that kind of a trade? And you're going to go to California and live it up and give up your baby boy and your wife just so you can smoke a marijuana cigarette now and then? I said, do you realize what you're doing? You're doing like Esau, trading off his inheritance for a bowl of soup. Read that story in the Bible. And that's what he was doing. He was trading off everything he had because he wasn't going to let his wife tell him what to do. And what she was telling him was quit smoking marijuana cigarettes, that's all. He was willing to give up everything. And when I shared that with him also, I shared with him the Lord. And he knew about the Lord. But he had decided to quit living for the Lord too. He was going to go do his thing. But when I shared with him this story about trading his baby for a marijuana cigarette, I guess he'd never looked at it that way before. So he thought about it for a little while and he said, stop the motorhome. I'm going back. Well, his little brother didn't like that at all. his little brother was excited about going to California. But thank God for the testimony that we gave that young man. This is a short story, but I thought I'd share it with you because there's so many people out there that do exactly the same thing. They get it in their head that there's somebody's not going to tell them what to do, or they get something that they want to do, and they're willing to trade off everything for it, not realizing that they're actually making that kind of a trade. He was going to give his baby up. Well, last I heard, and I heard from him after that for a while, he went back home. He went back to church, started serving God, and I heard he was in the ministry the last I heard. Well, thank God we picked those boys up. But I want you to take a lesson from this. There's a lot of things that you're tempted to do, or there's times in your life when you are tempted to make a choice that is a big trade. And it's a trade that'll change your life and the lives of those around you. And you don't want to do that. Stick with the Lord because God's got plans for you. He's got some great plans for you. Don't let the devil change your mind. Don't let the devil talk you into trading off your inheritance. God's got a plan for you. He said he had this plan a long time before you were born. So let God carry his plan through with you. Don't trade off your life. Don't trade off your kids. Don't trade off your wife. Don't trade off your inheritance, whatever it is that God's got planned. So, God bless you. Thanks for listening.